Hello again, and welcome to another Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous ship review. I'm Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo. It was about a year ago that I first did a review on this ship, and then later on a comparison between this and the Aegis Dynamics Avenger. Back then, it was just comparing stats and the physical models of the ships and the details that were released. Today, it's going to be an updated review, and I'm going to take it for a spin and talk a little bit about where the ship is right now. One thing I want to caution you on is that the ship is not done, and CIG is disappointed with the performance of it at this particular point, and it will be corrected by the time version 1.0 comes out. In fact, I believe the answer was it should be corrected by the time 13.2 comes out. Nonetheless, I'm here today to show you what I've found and talk a little bit about the upgraded model at this point. Let's take a walk down the ramp and see this baby up close. Now, this is a shared frame with the 300i. That is something that Ben Lesnick did confirm for me today. So they do share frames. It is going to have an enhanced armor on it. We are not sure if that's going to be plating that you could purchase for the 300i and upgrade it to this ship. But so far there are three distinctive hulls. The 300i 325A is one, 315P is the other, and 350R is a third, totally different frame. Well, obviously not totally different. Let's take a look around and start with the wingtips. There you have your OmniSky 4 laser cannons. These things are hard-hitting and drain power very fast. For that reason, it's fitted with a different power plant, a VHT2 Plus, and that's a size 2, but it can be fitted with a size 3. The main thruster is shared with the 300i. It's a Hammer Propulsion 5.3, and there are the Stalker 3 infrared missiles underneath each of the upper wings. A few seconds ago, I was showing off the Scalpel Precision maneuvering thrusters. There's another OmniSky 4 laser cannon. Now let's keep walking around the front. And there we see that Avenger style cannon. It is called the Sledge 2. It's a mass driver, and it's just been upgraded to pack a more powerful punch. These are the intakes for atmospheric flight and also for hydrogen scooping in space. I don't know why you need it for atmospheric flight. Trying to show you the difference between the older ships and the newer ships. The newer ships have much more detailed landing gear bays. The front weapon is gimbaled. It can spin right and left and up and down. The weapons on the wingtips are fixed. Now, this ship has been upgraded to pretty much share the same skin as a 300i. I'm not 100% sure why they did that. I like the old colors a lot better than the white, red, and blackish. Inside, it looks very much similar to the 300i, but a little bit more upscale. It's supposed to be a bounty hunter ship. This was sold in the bounty hunter package. There's a display over there for no reason. And what I'm trying to get at is, if you do capture your bounty, there's no place to put them in this. I guess you'll have to find some means of transporting them back. The inside of the 300 series I always thought was going to get a new gray boxing, and that never happened. The interior just doesn't make sense. It's a big open space with nothing really going on inside of it. No seats. There's a pull-out bed. No toilet. I always have this thing with the bathroom because they get into it. I guess these pipes over here that I've been looking at on both sides are cooling pipes. But it seems to share the same cockpit design as the 300i, which some people are critical about. And I asked Ben about in my interview today, that you'll see tomorrow. And I don't see why people are so up in arms about it. So what we're going to do right now is going to try to jump into a match and see how this baby performs. While we're waiting, let's give a little bit of talk about this. So they upgraded the process by which the ships are made, and the actual variants are all collected into one XML file, I believe. So when a change is made to one, it actually is made across all of the ships. That's important upgrading everything all together so you don't have to upgrade the performance of one ship to get it onto another ship. It's going to work out very well. I was scared that was going to take away a little bit of the unique characteristics. Like this ship does have a force wall shield. It has a VHT2 plus power plant, which is different. And it has a custom weapon system, which Ben said is inaccurately modeled in this ship at this particular point. There's a lot of things that are wrong with the ship at this point, and you'll see very quickly. Now, I tend to fly a lot with comstab off, but the G limiter on because I stink. And I'm going to do that for a little bit here. I promise you I'm not going to put you through the hell that I went through trying to get a kill in here. I'll end it pretty quickly. But I bought the 325A very early on, and I've melted it quite a few times and gotten it back quite a few times because it's a ship that I always wanted to use early on in my career in Star Citizen. But if this was the ship that I was going to buy 2 years from now when the Star Citizen universe is actually live, I would be very disappointed. The ship handles like a brick. It doesn't turn very fast, it's not very responsive, and then when you turn comstab off, it's actually very twitchy. I'm still very disappointed with controlling the ship with a throttle and stick. I guess I have a lot more work to do to try to get that tuned for me. One of my viewers sent me the voice attack profile, and I still have to get that loaded, so I don't have that working here. But the ship itself actually looks pretty neat, but it doesn't really look that distinctively different from a 300i. Though the interior with its darker color, I've got to go back in my 300i and see if it actually looks like this. But they took it out of the hangar, the training version, so I'm not sure. So with comstab off, the ship is actually somewhat maneuverable, but it should be a lot more maneuverable than it is. The power plant is abysmal. Shipping this with an Omni-Sky laser cannons and a size 2 power plant, it's a joke. I know that I could play with my power settings. It would be a lot easier with voice attack, and I'd probably get a few more hits in. Or I could have changed out the weapons for something different, but what my idea here, my purpose, is to show you what comes on the ship. The mass driver's actually been updated quite a bit, and it can do some damage. Thank you, whoever that was, for taking that guy out because I really needed help there. So you can see that the ship itself does maneuver quite well. I don't do any decoupling here. I'm just trying to use my boost, do some slides and some spins, so I can get a feel for the ship. Now, in a World War II fighter, I can get my pipper on the target, and those weapons are fixed. And even in War Thunder, I've learned how to do that, where you're actually dealing with real physics drop of the ballistic, of the weapons. But in this game, a laser should be fired straight. There should be no ballistic drop or maneuvering away. I find it very difficult to target at this point. Well, unless that is I'm targeting with my ship itself. Now, that did not happen. And I think that's more of a situation or more of a problem with the way that the HOTAS are modeled in the game at this point. But the flight model seems a little bit too twitchy on all the ships to me. I did get him. That's pretty cool. All right. Like I said, I don't want to be doing this all day. What I'm trying to do is just give you commentary on this. This did not end well for me. The game crashed right in the middle of it. I've been having a lot of crashes in Star Citizen lately, and I think it's just me, and then I go on the forums and find out it's other people too. The ship is able to maneuver with these scavengers real easily in the beginning, and I'm even able to take out the hunters and a couple of the elites later on. But I keep finding it very difficult, although I do get a few kills, of getting the pipper on the target. And even the mass driver doesn't seem to be tracking when I put it to where it should be. There should be an auto lock-on for that. I have played this ship with all mass drivers on it. I do have a couple of other mass drivers, and it's pretty intense. I mean, it's not exceptional, but it's better than this. I can get just about 2.5 shots out of my laser cannons before they're depleted. This ship needs a size 3 power plant. There is no doubt about it. If this is the fighter, I implore CIG to give it a larger power plant than they're giving now. Give it a max power plant size of 4 and ship it with a 3. That way it makes more sense as a fighter. The Touring Edition I could understand being shipped with a 2. Make that one of the differences between the ships. That way you have a true personal fighter and a true touring ship that's doesn't really have a main purpose. And I'd love to see the interior just hashed out on this one more time, one more pass on the interior. Give it purpose. Give it some way to carry its cargo. Give it seats inside. Maybe I could carry my friends and my family around in it. And I sound like I'm being critical of this ship, but in reality, I actually love the look of this ship. When I think Rob Irving, or was it Chris Smith? It must have been Chris Smith designed this ship. It just 100% very quickly became the ship I had to own in the game very early on. Yes, I'm disappointed at this point, but guys, we're in an alpha. I know I pose a lot of questions like ship prices, lack of focus, things not coming out right, but let me be serious. I'm 100% behind this game, and a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm trying to spark up conversation with you all so I can go back and talk to Ben, get some questions, and interview him. Yesterday's vlog got me a lot of questions, or I should say produced a lot of questions, and I talked to Ben earlier today, and you'll hear that tomorrow. So I am excited that they have this ship actually flying, but I'm more excited to see what they do over the next 12 months to this ship. I'd like to see it start to distinguish itself a little bit more uniquely within the 300 line of ships. I'd love for it to be different. I'd love for it to be more impressive in battle. It needs to fit right behind that Hornet that I'm fighting with, and not in the distance behind it. Upcoming sometime before the end of the year, we should have the Avenger. I will revisit the 325A again after I do my Avenger revisit, my Avenger re-review, when it finally hits Arena Commander, which I do have word from Ben today that should be hitting sometime before the end of this year. Now, if you think about it, the 300 series is one of the first 5 ships. All 5 of the 300s need to be flyable in Arena Commander before the Avenger comes out. The Cutlass was actually announced before the Avenger, but it's not a single seat. So we will see that Avenger coming up before 2.0. I can't tell you it's a promise, but it's a definite goal that they have. I'm going to leave you there with my broken apart ship, looking like I normally do at the end of 10 levels. It's a little bit soon. And I'm just going to tell you this. In subsequent matches after this, where I've put different weapon systems on it, specifically the laser repeaters, I have done very well with this ship. It seems that I'm much more able to take a Vandal out with the laser repeaters than I am the Omni Skies. And I think it's just that I stink at being a sharpshooter. Alright, with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, and P.S. Don't forget about the Constellation model giveaway. I intend on giving away the Constellation model the week of Thanksgiving. So if you haven't already sent in an entry, all you have to do to enter that contest is to send an email to theaddictedgamer@gmail.com with the subject field Constellation Model Giveaway, and tell me what your favorite episode of Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous or any one of my other shows was. And again, be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye, all.